told by Misty, keeper of the Last Lantern Tavern. Well now, pull up your chairs, warm your hands by the fire, and hush down that racket, because tonight I've got a tale for you that'll set your nerves trembling and your supper turning. This one comes from the road south of Old Arua, and from places far, far beneath it. This wasn't just rats or sewer filth. No, this was something old, something hungry, and our boys and girls walked right into its teeth. The road of burning carts. It began with the party traveling toward a quiet little village. At least it was supposed to be quiet. Instead, they found smoke rising in the night and a cart burned down to black bones. No goods left, no food, nothing taken. Except 3 orcs lying dead beside it, dragged off the road where carrion birds were tearing into them. But here's the strange part. Some of you know, orcs will steal anything that isn't nailed down. These ones weren't raiders, they were punishers. Our party learned this truth earlier that evening when they'd stumbled into a fight on the road and rescued 5 captured orc scouts, tied up, beaten, half-starved, and inches from death. Their captors were orcs too, but the cruel kind. The kind that have been terrorizing the smaller villages, smashing huts and burning carts, but never touching towns or cities. The scouts explained it plain. A new leader rose among the warbands, someone they call Gorvak the Gorge Taker. And his orders are strange. He forbids stealing. He wants destruction, not plunder. He beats orcs who disobey. The scouts were caught because they refused to join him. Our party cut their ropes, shared water, and struck a deal. The scouts would sneak back into the warbands, listen for whispers, and bring their findings here, to Marta, to Old Arua, to the Last Lantern itself. A risky job, but honor's a funny thing. Orcs might brawl like beasts, but once they swear a thing, they keep it. Remember their names, folks. Those 5 might save us yet. The village of running rats. By the time the party reached the village, folk were standing on tables, screaming at every shadow. Rats by the dozens had poured through the streets earlier that day, spilling from drains and cellar holes, biting ankles, swarming pantries, and fleeing like the whole world was on fire behind them. The party went straight to the source, the sewers. Now usually that's just wet stone, old pipes, and the occasional patch special floating by, but not that night. They found a wall torn apart from the inside, stone cracked open like an eggshell. Something pulled the wall outward. Not a tool, not claws. Force, pressure. And from that hole came a warm, sickly glow. They followed it, the descent into the deep caverns. Once past the sewer wall, they weren't in the city tunnels anymore. They were beneath them. A long, narrow passage sloped down for what felt like 100 yards, glowing with streaks of yellow-green moss. It pulsed like a heartbeat, warm to the touch, wet, breathing. And then came the rats. A whole swarm, bursting past them in panic. Not attacking, fleeing, though a few bit and scratched out of pure terror. The deeper they went, the thicker that glow got, and the louder the hum, like something enormous was stirring under their boots. The beast beneath the dirt. The cavern they reached opened like a cracked jaw, trenches, broken stone, and loose soil quivering as something moved beneath it. Then the ground split with a roar, and out shot a pale, blind monster, all muscle and grinding jaws. A burrow beast forced upward by whatever lived deeper. The fight was brutal, fast, dirty. Our heroes didn't have room to dodge, and the thing came at them in bursts, spitting mud, rat bones, and the stink of the deep earth. But they cut it down and realized it wasn't the source. It was just something running away like everything else. The mother below. Further still, the tunnel opened into a final chamber. Curtains of glowing moss hung from the ceiling like dead vines. The ground pulsed underfoot. Everything smelled like sour heat and old stone. And in the center of the cavern lay a rising mound of earth, which lifted its head. A swollen, hairless shape like a rat the size of a stag, its body crawling with moss veins that dug into the walls. Its eyes glowed sickly yellow. When it spoke, its voice wasn't sound, it was vibration. Right in their bones. So many children run from me, but you come willingly. The broodmother rose, claws like roots, limbs pulling free from the moss that fed upon her. She wasn't just a beast. She was a prisoner of the fungus. Its puppet, its engine. The fight was savage. The cavern shook. The moss brightened with every hit she took. And Junfan, God's bless him, he hit the dirt more than once and nearly didn't stand again. But the party killed her. When she died, the moss shriveled and dimmed. The heartbeat hum faded. The warmth leaked out of the stone. And there, among the scraps of her mound, they found a small leather-worn book called Steps in Dust, filled with old poems about fear in dark places, about guiding lost souls, and about walking slowly through shadows without letting fear lead the way. Strangest thing? Some poems speak of voices and shapes that form out of fear itself. Someone down here knew about things that live in the dark, long before this moss ever took hold. Aftermath. The broodmother's death freed the rats from terror, but it didn't silence the deep earth. As the party climbed back toward the cracked sewer wall, the ground gave a low groan, distant but real. Something is still moving far below. The orc scouts will return with news. The moss came from deeper fissures, and now the tunnels beneath Old Arua feel thinner, closer to something they were never meant to touch. So raise a glass to the brave fools of Session 67. They stared into the dark beneath our feet, and the dark stared back. And next time you hear scratching in the walls, don't assume it's just rats.